good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Today, I have a very special guest with us. We have, most of you guys know him as Shoden-san, but that's not really his real name. His real name is Dennis Abbott. And Shoden, as you know, his nickname is I guess like the premier video freelancer, or the premier freelancer when it comes to videos and video marketing. You might have seen, you might have seen some of his videos. I'm sure you've seen some of his videos sometime. Any popular ones that you can share with us?
Well,
That you're allowed to share?
if you know John Pagulayan, then you probably seen some of my videos.
You've worked on John Pagulayan's videos. You've worked on. Are we allowed to say your other clients?
For a lot of, it's the thing, because I can actually mention some of the internet marketers that I'm working with, like John Orana. He's also a mentor of mine, and I'm currently working with Alan Ngo as well. Because this is in our world of freelancers, this is the domain where I like to work now. But previously, I've had documentary work in corporate film, so a lot of them typically don't get publicly credited to my name, but it's okay because it's always an NDA with me.
So there might have been some public videos that that the audience has seen, but you're not allowed to talk about. But here we have the Master Shoden with us this afternoon. By the way, guys, if you're watching, please say hi. Please let us know things are working well. Please say hi. Please say where you're from. And if you have any questions for Master Shoden, please type them in the comments. We'll be sure to ask them during this live interview as well. All right. So thank you once again, Shoden. You know, it's a pleasure interviewing you. You're one of the bigger known names, I guess.
Yeah,
and you have a great story. You're here to I guess talk to us about your, aside from your story, you being a full-time dad. Is that accurate to say?
I think so, yeah.
Full-time dad, full-time freelancer, and how you manage all of that. So I guess we can just go ahead and get started. Let's talk about you, and how you got started. We know you came from corporate. You had some experience there. So what were you doing before freelancing? Let's talk a little bit about your corporate life and how you transitioned over into what you're doing today.
Okay, so in corporate, actually, I had many tasks, and like Steve Jobs always likes to say, connect the dots moving forward, right? So you're not really sure what's going to happen with your life. I think one of your guests before also mentioned it, the guy who was a 400K project manager, also Cebuano, Mike, yeah, he's very inspirational. So all along, he didn't know that all of his skills would tie up to make him the person who owns a BPO that he has today. So essentially, I think it's true for all of us. My first job right after college was also a BPO. So I was a technical support agent for Convergys for the Bell South account. So I used to have a fake Texas accent, and I would be doing callbacks for Hurricane Katrina victims. So you'd have a guess about the first year that I got into employment was during Hurricane Katrina. So
can you give us the Texan accent?
So it would go like this. Thank you for calling Bell South. My name is Dennis. How may I help you?
Okay, that'll work. Yeah, we've been in the call center. A lot of us have been in the call center. Okay, you were doing work with Bell South, doing customer callbacks, and then what happened from there?
What happened right after that was, incidentally though, I took up European languages back in university, right? So this was something that I really just feared that I would lose this skill in European languages, because my first job was the job that they called me for, because in effect well, ako nung time na yun, patay gutom kasi ako. The first person who called me for a job interview was Convergys, and I was just so happy to get a job. So I took it, but I left my training for European languages behind. So I got into Convergys for full almost 2 years. Then I went back to European languages work. So thankfully I got into an account inside of Emerson Process Management, which gave me the opportunity to practice my German again. So I got to travel, go to Europe, work in Europe for a few months at a time, and then that was the routine for the next 3 years. So, and after that, I felt that I would want to try the solar industry. So I actually transferred to SunPower Philippines. I worked as a solar advisor, also working with the German language. So I was an administrator for the offices in Germany when you wanted to set up a solar panel on your warehouse, on your roof. So yeah, these are all really day jobs in effect. So even if you get to travel, the thing that people don't realize is that you're in Europe, but you're in an office 8 to 5. So it's not really, well, I'm really thankful for the opportunity to travel and stuff, but that's what people don't realize because, you're there to work. You're not really there for vacation. So that's the difference. But yeah, after that, I went into the IT hotel industry. So I worked for Docomo Entity, German support as well. And after that, my last corporate job was Shell Philippines. So I was working for the accounts payable department. So it was a really, if you think about it, it's a really sort of unrelated things that it's a mishmash of IT, engineering, and customer support and logistics. But yeah, it turns out that if you want to become your own business, really you have to pick up bits and pieces of this here. Develop a skill set here, like people skills, management, also, being more organized, which is something that I'm not really not, but you're forced to do it when you're in the job.
So during this time, you were tech support in Convergys, you did process management, you did admin work, you did IT, you were in Germany. For how many years were you in Germany?
It's not really years, bro, but the job was, I would be there for a few months at a time.
And traveling back and forth?
Every year, yeah. So like on 1 year, I'm there for 3 months, and then next year, another 2 months. So the job was really to transfer the process from Germany to Manila. So it was not so pleasant.
So you had process management, admin work, accounts payable work, and this has nothing to do with video. Like all of these jobs have nothing to do with video. I would never have guessed that you went into video from these. But at this time, were you interested in video?
The funny thing is, now that you mention it, Jason, and now that you're giving me perspective on how I'm supposed to tell my story, it's the fact that before I went to my first job. So that's the thing. There is a sort of a first love that happens even before you get a job, right? So you get exposed to certain elements that you really desire and you really want to work in. So in college, to support myself, one of my favorite part-time jobs was to edit videos for people with projects. So that's where the link comes in. So I couldn't afford the cameras back then, right? So, and then back then we had bootleg copies of Photoshop, Adobe. All of those things were practically bootleg. You could never afford any of those things if you were a college kid.
Even now, it's very expensive.
So that's the case. I used to work with a lot of graphics, and then I transitioned into video editing first before I actually got into video shooting, because it's only recently that DSLRs became, more manageable in price. So that was when I actually went to Europe, when I was enabled finally to save up some money and see the sights. So, sayang yung tourist spots if you don't take photos or videos of them. Diba? You remember the time when I was giving you tourist tips? Yun yung ginagawa ko dati, bro. So, I was traveling through several places, and then people started noticing. And at one point, somebody actually asked me for my rates, and then I was like, okay, you want to?
So they saw your video like on Facebook or something, and they asked you how much it would cost.
Oh, something like that. Yeah. So I think most of my first gigs were actually free because I was just really happy to do it. So I was doing birthdays for friends, and one of my friends who got married that time, I think maybe almost 10 years ago now. Yeah, 9 years ago. She was getting married, but I volunteered to shoot her wedding video, but not the official team, right? Just sort of a salin pusa. Yung parang they'll allow me to shoot, but I won't interfere with the actual videographers. So she was kind enough to do that. And that's when I realized that, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. I have so much to learn. And then, so that's when, I think that was 2010, I decided to invest in myself to upgrade my skills. Because I was looking for a videography school. And that was also the time when I was already working in Sun Power, I think. So I still got to travel. Mm-hmm. But the pull or the force was getting stronger with the weekend warrior, because when I started owning a camera myself, I went on weekend gigs where you get paid as a freelancer. So that was the time when I really was into the offline freelancing thing, where every week I would do that.
So how did you transition? Okay, so let me get the story straight. And for everybody here, this is really my first time hearing the entire story. But if you are amazed at Shoden's story, right now he earns a lot of money as a video guy, but he never even started video. He never did this for corporate. He just did it outside corporate. And he only learned recently, 7 years ago. So if this is something that you find inspiring and shocking, maybe you please hit the share button. Please hit the share button. Share his story with friends and family. We want to learn more, and be sure to ask questions later. But going back to you, Shoden. College time, you were doing some video editing on the side, which isn't that hard. You just cut and paste maybe.
These were for presentations in classes like Humanities 1, Com 2, Com 3, those subjects.
Okay. So no like fancy effects and things, just cut and paste a little bit. And...
Yeah, the basics of, but we did have some music videos. Those were the really crappy ones. With the fake effects, like, page turning and stuff.
I wonder what year this is.
This was back in college, because I was a freshman in 1998.
Okay. So you're dating yourself there. But okay, so in 1998, you did some video editing a little bit, those corny effects, those page turn, the stars and things like that.
Yep.
But it wasn't until 2010 that you bought your own camera.
It was actually 2007, because
2007.
I was already employed with Emerson Process by then, and I was able to afford those cameras by then.
Especially back, right now the cameras are cheaper, but in 2007 they were still extremely expensive. So 2007, you bought a camera, you bought your first SLR.
Mm-hmm.
You bought your first SLR, and then you did some just weekend shoots, like all of us do that, right? And you guys watching, you do that too, right? You go, right now we even do it on our camera phones, because our camera phones are nice now. But for those of you that have SLRs, who can afford SLRs, I don't even have one myself. You go to Boracay, or you go to Baguio. I don't know what you can take a picture of, but you go to Cebu, and you take pictures, you take videos, you post them on Facebook. So that's what you were doing. And then from there, is this when your friends asked you, hey, Shoden, you have some great videos, some great pictures, and this is how you started doing gigs for your friends?
That started like that, but also there was this realization where when they started to ask, right, that one gig would actually be 1 day's worth of gig would be, if you did it every day, you only need to work like maybe 5 days a month. So that was the realization. So that you became sort of an entrepreneur. Like, wait a minute, this is what's happening. So those are the things that So you're shooting, right, and then they're starting to give you a good amount of TF or talent fee for your work, and you're getting lots of projects. And on the weekends, if you total the amount of like what you get, if you do the math, the weekends are really like your daily rate soars up, as opposed to being in an office, going through traffic, being cooped up and doing the regular work. So that's it became sort of an entrepreneurial thing where okay, so yeah. And then I had this, we have this, because you're young, you have this sort of arrogance where you think like, kaya ko to, itong si Jason Magbano, or itong si kaya ko naman yun eh. And then I was really like so full of myself, like I was full of it, And then I realized when I did the wedding of my friend, like I told you earlier, I realized, oh my God, I do not know what I'm doing. So that's when I actually had to find courses, but there wasn't any available in the Philippines back then. So I had to go to Singapore. I borrowed money from my best friend and some other friends, so I could afford the course. It was $1,000 back then. And
US or Singaporean?
US. So I had to like crash at my other friend's house in Singapore, those things. But turns out naman it was really great kasi I got to network with some of the big time filmmakers in the Philippines back then, who were also in Singapore, so they just flew for that event.
So you enrolled, you invested in this training for 50,000, let's say 50,000 pesos.
Yeah, more or less, yeah.
Yeah, 50,000 pesos.
Hindi actually kasi bro, it was cheaper back then. So about yung $1,000 was 40,000 lang.
Say 40. So you invested 40,000 well, including the flight. So that's
yeah, that's mas mahal pala. Sorry. So around maybe flight plus food, kasi free na ako dun sa accommodations eh. So yan, flight plus food.
So let's say mga 50K. Ganun. You invested mga 50K. And at that time you were still an amateur videographer, yeah, and you were doing gigs, but would you consider yourself an amateur at that time? You realized that you needed to learn more, diba?
Ano yun, bro? At that time, I considered myself as a really good videographer. I was so full of myself. And then when I went to the training, I realized how small and how basic my work was. So I had this video that I was so proud of, and I went to the course here, but sir, can you check my work and give me a critique? And then frowning, looking at my work, everything was in slow motion. Kasi that's a crutch. Kasi if you're always doing slow motion, you're not really telling the story so well. Kasi it's just moments that are slowed down, diba? So dati akala ko yun na yung parang the best that was out there to like. so yun, I at first that's what you get when you actually try to expand your horizon, is you realize that you're not really that good, but you have a chance to level up really. So that's what you really want to do. So whatever field you're in, freelancing or videography or whatever field you're in, you surround yourself with people who are way better than you, so that you're gonna level up yourself. So sabi nga nila, a rising tide raises all boats. May sense ba yun? Pero ano yun, bro eh. Ganun. So you really have to raise your bar. And then
Tagalog mo, so that,
paano ba? A rising tide?
Pag umakit, when the water goes up.
I don't know eh. Kasi, so, guys, sorry kasi
pag high tide,
I'm from Tacloban, so hindi ako mag-Tagalog masyado.
Oh, yeah. Pag high tide, umakit yung mga
yun. So,
ng barko.
Pag Pag I'm gonna
Bisaya
give
na
up
nga
on
tayo.
Binisaya na lang tabay.
Okay. So you, but the thing is, I find striking is that you weren't really earning that much yet. You know, you had some gigs, but you weren't. It was a risk kasi, and you risked like 50,000. You didn't have that. Sabi mo, you borrowed money, di ba? So you borrowed 50,000 pesos to to invest in yourself, to take that risk, and that's something that most people wouldn't do, to make that big of a leap. So aside sa kayabangan mo, you know, you said you really felt that you were the best videographer at that time. What assurance did you have that you'd make the money back?
Actually, I didn't have any assurance, bro. You're making me reflect on a lot of things. Like it could have been a really stupid move, thinking about it now, because like the way you're, uh, you know, asking the questions, like, oh no, you're right. Like I could have had made a stupid mistake, but yeah, because that's the thing. If you really have your skin in the game, you really pushing yourself. So even if you're not really that skilled yet, and you have to admit that, guys, kasi yun nga, humble pa talaga yun. Pero as I learned na I have a lot to learn pa talaga, I decided to make it work kasi lugi. Tapos I would disappoint not just my friends and everyone else, but syempre yung I tried something, and at least diba, if I gave it my all, I would be able to say na sana if I just applied myself pa, diba? Ayun, so yun nga, as you realize that you had a lot to lose, it would really spur you to do your best, just because you're really in it now, you're in the game now. So what I did right after that, I joined organizations. Like, for example, right now I'm trying to become a better online freelancer. So I joined Flip, I joined the community of Marv, Alan, John, everyone who has a name in the industry. I have to really immerse myself in, and also if I'm able to help out with my current skill set if they need parang something, because that's how I actually learn, because I'm sort of a what you call slacker, bro. so when I actually learn things, I love it when I'm having fun. Otherwise, I won't remember it. So yun yung problem. So the thing is, with videography kasi there's a lot of technical stuff, pero if you just enjoy it, you forget about the hardships. Kasi mahirap nga siya. It's just a lot of f-stops, apertures, all those things. Pero if you do it day by day and just realize that at first you're gonna suck. Yun talaga. at first you're really gonna suck. Everybody says this in our industry. So, but that's the thing. You should rejoice na you're actually moving forward. So if you realize that in yourself na you suck, you're gonna try to do it better the next day, and then do it a little less suckier the next day. So,
okay. Yeah, and that's great. At first, you're definitely gonna suck. I remember my first, because I do a lot of videos nowadays, like of my own face. Unlike you, you take videos of other people. You have a lot of that. But my first videos of myself were really, really bad. Especially at first. But yeah, that's good. Know that at first you're gonna suck, and then move forward slowly. But like what Shoden said, I do want to reiterate what he said, that he didn't have any insurance. I guess he didn't think about it so much at the time. He was young, he was excited.
Yeah, let's just chalk it up to I thought it was a good idea at the time.
He thought it was, and it was a good idea. It worked out. But he put all his parang all or nothing, diba? All in. Kung sa poker, all in, diba? You bet everything on it. You borrowed money pa. But what that meant is that you didn't have any plan B. Parang ganun. Do or die.
Sort of.
Ganun.
Sort of. Pero you think kasi medyo cheat siya kasi there was yung skill set ko kasi with the German language. It pays really high sa atin sa Pilipinas kasi diba there's a language premium. So I was sort of banking if I'm really gonna fail, then I could always go back to taking German call center work, diba? Pero that was the farthest from my mind when I was trying to do video. And actually, the German thing became a sort of uh, special thing. So my USP, my unique value prop, selling point, because I could then actually pitch to European NGOs, European companies like European Union, and I would get the job because I had this connection with them. So yun.
Okay, that's great. What you learned in the past is still effective right now. So let's go back to your story a little bit. You invested, you were getting gigs, and then at what point did you go to the next level in your freelancing, or how did you? Because anybody can go to a school, anybody can study, but that doesn't make them a successful freelancer. So how did you do it?
That's a very good question, bro. So, so I was doing freelance work na. So when I finally left corporate, it was 2012 pa lang. So, pero luckily because of all of the gigs and all of the practice that you have, I got a 7-figure deal in 2013. So, nice. Yun siya, yun nga. So, what I had to do, because I did not have credentials yet, even if I was able to do a lot of great editing work and filmmaking work, I didn't have the firepower yet. So I teamed up with my friend and actually my partner right now with the video school, EJ Mijares. He was my mentor as well in documentary work. And I used to go out for him doing projects. Pero yun nga, when we got the Big Fish project and we successfully got several other Big Fish projects na account ko. So yun, dun actually pumasok yung soft skills na work, especially with, kasi yun nga, there was a German company, the German NGO called GIZ. So it's the name is Gesellschaft für internationale Zusammenarbeit.
What?
And yeah, yun. Pero the English translation is Society for International Cooperation.
Okay.
So para siyang USAID, but it's a German version of USAID.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a series to produce 9 documentary videos on climate change.
Wow.
So yun. So it was something that was close to my heart. Lalo pa na taga-Tacloban ako. So yun, climate change yung bahay namin. Like you're in the middle of filming the documentary when the Yolanda climate changed our house. Like, wapak. So yun, bro. So that was sort of, I think, feeling ko yung little bit of confidence that also actually helped. Kasi nga, if you were super mahiyain naman and didn't know how to approach, didn't know how to pitch. And these are skills that you gradually develop over the other jobs, diba? Kasi you're talking to strangers every single day in the call center. You're talking to bosses, then sa process management, you're organizing logistics for other companies, diba? So maraming mga skills that are actually coming together that you didn't realize were molding you to be able to kumbaga accept the challenges that you have right now. So I think it's the same in your case then, bro, diba? Kasi you were an OFW then, but when you came back, marami kang natutunan doon that you also eventually used here, and then when you put the courses, ganun siya eh. So I see it in a lot of our friends then, that they use the hardship that they've had as a stepping stone. So ganun yung nangyari. After that, my friend EJ, yun nga yung mentor ko, he had a dream din pala to set up a school kasi wala kasing video school eh sa Pilipinas. Ako naman, I was looking for that school 3 years ago. where was it when I needed it? So wala. And then so we set it up. So it was 2014 when we set up the Shoot Practical Videography School.
Nice.
So yun siya, bro. It came about kasi sa side ng partner ko si EJ, his dream was to parang prevent people from making bad videos out of other people's milestones. Kasi diba, this was the time now, 2014, that DSLRs are becoming cheaper. So practically anybody who had a DSLR could pretend, like me before, diba? That they could shoot weddings, diba? So buti lang I had the sort of foresight to say na, don't get me as the main wedding videographer. I'm just gonna practice. Diba? Pero a lot of people are actually practicing at the expense of the milestone of the bride and groom. So which is very sad. So it happened to EJ's, I think it was his cousin, who had a really bad wedding video that did not cause tears of joy but tears of
sadness.
Oh, sadness kasi sobrang pangit talaga. Tapos they paid them like tapos hindi naman cheap magpagawa ng wedding video, di ba? So yun. Ako naman on my side, parang I adopted the cause kasi ako naman yung naghanap ng school, so I could relate to the market kasi I came from corporate and gusto ko rin yung challenge kasi nga I was the one who set up the website, yung mga email marketing, yung online marketing na ginagawa natin. So ako yung nag-set up ng side na yun. So all of the sequences. So I had to actually learn that way. That was my introduction into online freelancing naman. So I got to know people like Ginger back then, 2014. I actually met Marv, Charlie Aquino. So these are the people I started to get to know along the way in my own journey to become a better businessman naman. So to get our school online and we have more students. So parang ano siya, bro, it's like it's all building up to something. So parang ganun. So we started our courses, people liked it. Right now we're on our 3rd year. Nag-anniversary kami nung November and thankful kami na mga almost 400 graduates na, bro. So
nice. Congratulations, bro.
Ikaw, mas marami kang graduates sa work from home roadmap.
For 400 is a good number. That's still a lot of students, and specific to a niche like videography. But for an in-person class, that's very admirable what you've done. So congratulations, Shoden, for achieving that. Now, I do have a couple of questions for you. So you started the school 2014. It's been running for 3 years now. Rewinding the timelines a little bit. 2012, you left corporate. You were doing video gigs. 2013, you got the big gig, the seven figure. Guys, for those of you that can't count properly, that's million. 7-figure. Just in case,
Yun yung contract price, guys. So of course after expenses, six figures.
And then you split it out with your partner. So definitely, it's no longer 7, but the deal itself, 7 figures. That's a very exciting deal. I guess when you first,
I was like, I couldn't believe it myself actually, bro. Kasi nga, I was just giving it a shot, like for what it's worth. Kasi nga, nobody would actually hire. They wouldn't give other people a shot because the chief advisor was German, but I was able to cut through the bureaucratic,
Yeah, it's very strict. Germans are very strict. They're very detailed.
So yeah, maraming revisions, pero we were able to finish it kasi ganun nga. But it was a great project for me kasi after that things got easier. We got other projects, then mas mabilis. So yun yung parang one of the things that happened after that project kasi this guy also recommended us to other organizations. So meron kaming European Union, meron kaming
nice.
Mga ganong projects. So we get sent all over the place to make documentaries for them.
Wow. So it just took one big client and then they referred you to a lot of other clients. Did you still need to reach out to other potential clients on your own, or did you have enough work coming in from referrals?
Syempre in the documentary and in that kind of world sa NGO work, you would need to pitch pa rin kasi of course the bidding process it has to be fair, di ba? So even if it's a good project, may bidding process pa din. So yun nga, dun sa German client na yun, we actually had to bid for it pa din. Pero ultimately they chose us nga because of the communication and the ability to produce. So I initially used the firepower and experience of my partners. So yung isa was a TV writer, isa si EJ. He is a parang full-time documentary filmmaker for the past 15 years ng time na yun. So he really had the street cred. Ako naman, I came in as the film editor, pero I was fully in the project, so shooting, editing, and then coordinating. So I was really into it. So yun, masaya siya. And after that, you still had to pitch, pero because nandun na sa folio mo yung project na yun, it's easier to land the deal or get you into the meeting at least to to further cement your stake or your attempt. Yun siya, bro.
That one, parang if you have a successful portfolio or case study, that really helps you get more. I do have like, I'm curious then, maybe before you got that big project, or even after, like how did you, aside from referrals, because referrals were your number one way of getting clients, and finding about gigs. So aside from referrals, what else did you do, or did you have to do anything else? Did you try doing other things?
Oh, actually, yun the videography organization that I told you about. That was pivotal kasi yun yan. I learned about other studios who were looking for freelancers, and then you would apply to any of the available gigs na meron sila. For example, they have a wedding shoot. You would contact them. So meron kaming message board, like similar to what we have sa Flip, where the job boards that we have. Meron din kaming gano'n dun sa videography forum namin. So it's also a Facebook group that it's literally just looking for ganito ganyan on this day, and I need this kind of shooter, or I need an editor. So ganun siya. Parang gig economy din siya. But live, you have to show up, you have to go there. So it's similar to what we do, pero yung transition naman to get into wanting to stay at home and do video marketing, it comes in around 2016, 2017 when we were about to have our first child. So parang mas gusto ko kasi magstay sa bahay para mag-alaga. kaya I wanted to be able to earn money from just staying at home, diba? And still use the video skills. Kasi syempre, I'm an editor naman so I can really still get some income by doing film work as an editor. Hindi na, ngayon kasi I'm not really shooting as much kasi medyo mayroon akong back injury, but I like to direct and then also edit. So yun siya, bro.
Okay, so and you said you've been, your recent, your wife just gave birth about recently, so congratulations on the new baby. But that made you kind of refocus into doing more video marketing, which you're also really good at. And you've recently been working with John Arana, John Pogolayan, Alan Ngo. What else is parang in the future for you? Like, what are your plans moving forward?
It's a really great question. Pero yun nga, the thing with what I'm doing right now, kasi I'm sort of on a parang medyo sabbatical from the operations sa school kasi yun nga, incidentally, wala rin kasi kaming yaya eh. So, hindi lang siya basta-basta na gusto mong magstay sa bahay, pero wala ka ring choice. Pero masarap din naman na you're able to watch over the baby kasi ang bilis nilang mag-grow up eh. Kaya what's in it for me in the future, I think kasi ayun din I'm looking for something na I've started to learn. Actually, I invested in online marketing courses, and yun nga ginagawa natin, and then email marketing and really being with the folks that are up there in the pantheon of Pinoy freelancing greats like you guys. So ano siya eh, gusto ko ng parang income na I would still really love to do filmmaking pa rin, pero not for survival na like before, like you would go out kasi you need to put food on the table. I would love to do it as a parang project and advocacy, help other people, make people see or change or affect their behavior through your films. Kasi ganun yung magic ng movies or videos, diba? You have this ability to impart feelings on your audience using an inanimate object na nandyan lang naman. Pero for me it's sort of magical and medyo nerdy if you guys are listening to this the first time. Kasi that's how I actually think about things. Kasi yun the camera is a piece of glass, rubber, diba? And then software and then metal. Pero if you're able to pass through the camera with your feelings and you impart it on your audience, you're doing something special. So that's what I always want to be able to do whenever I'm creating a video. Kasi yun nga, with video, people get emotional and if you're doing it the right way, you're doing for the right reasons, you can help make change. Yeah. So, ganun siya. Medyo cheesy siya, bro. Sorry.
It's okay. Because I mean, you have to, I guess the most successful people, and you're very successful in the video world, and in the business world, the most successful people are those that have really strong convictions with what they're doing. Na hindi lang basta-basta, video, wala lang, ganun. But you really have a vision. You really have a strong conviction that, what you're doing has a positive effect on the society and on the world. And those are those are the people that can really make change.
It's sort of a special kind of high. Kasi if you're doing corporate work lang lagi din, and may fulfillment kasi there is infusion ng cash and you get you get paid. Pero if you're able to, let's say, create a video where you help an entire community get noticed on the map and then get their livelihoods parang given focus by the government kasi nga may sila doon, may problema sila. You just put the spotlight on them with your video, di ba? Mm-hmm. If you're able to do that, and then it really feels good. Kasi kahit actually yung gig na yun, they paid me, they still paid me for that gig, pero it helped change that place for the better. So yun yung astig sa. I'll show you the link for that, guys, pala later para hindi vaporware yung mga pinagsasabi ko.
Totoo yun. Totoo lahat, of course. Sige. All right, let's take a look and see if you guys have any questions. Rixay wants to know if she should buy an SLR or a GoPro.
Ano siya, bro? My usual advice kasi is always use the camera that's in your hand. So if it makes it easier for you to use a GoPro all the time, then you get to capture memories that are there happening in the moment. Kasi yun nga, there's this thing about quality versus convenience, and even today's cell phones, like as you know, diba, they're good enough for capturing video, pero they're not the highest quality. Yun yung thing. Pero if that's the camera you always have in your hand, you have ready all the time, then that's the camera that's gonna capture the moments, as opposed to bringing a heavy DSLR all the time. Pagod ka na, ayaw mo na mag-shoot kasi pagod ka na, you're gonna have to go through all of the hassle of ano ba yung nangyayari dito, bad trip naman, do I have to set up a tripod? That's what happens when you have big DSLRs, diba? So it's up to you if you really prefer to, kasi it's a state of mind din kasi. Right now, I'm not so much for DSLRs except when I'm doing professional work where some clients need to see like bigger cameras kahit hindi naman kailangan na talaga. Pero yun.
Or the newer phones are good enough for most shoots, you'd say?
Pero ano siya, merong limitation kasi yung mga cellphone kasi they typically parang have yung maliit na sensor. Diba? Kasi it's just a cell phone, so the sensor size inside of your phone limits your ability to have more bandwidth in post-processing. So kung ganyan na yung ilaw mo and you try to tweak it, it doesn't have enough data for you to work with. So it's good for as is, like Facebook videos, social videos. It looks okay for that. Pero if you want to have a longer lasting video, that's something that looks timeless, mahirap siya na gawin sa cellphone, but you can do it. You really just have to control your lighting, control everything around it, and then put the cell phone on manual settings. If your phone has manual settings, then do the manual settings. So yun yung thing. Pero right now at our current technology, like the iPhone can shoot really well. You can even shoot movies on it. Pero yun nga, the latitude for editing is not so high.
Oh, yung Samsung din not just iPhones. Because I'm a Samsung user, so yung mga Android din representing.
Oh bro, yung Samsung mo, that's a really high quality camera there kasi yun nga. Pero that's the thing, dahil nga okay naman yung lens niya, pero yung sensor sa likod, just really just the size of your fingernail, so it's not gonna really help you when. Pero yun nga, you can still use it, guys. Use it whatever you have in your hand, and I think that's the best. Yung convenience sa inyo, it makes it easy. Kumbaga, eliminate use the path of least resistance, sabi nga nila.
Whatever is convenient, whatever you have. Yeah. Any photo better than no photo, diba? If you don't bring your SLR with you, well, then useless naman siya. Liana is asking if you're using a diffuser right now, because your lighting looks amazing. You're like in the Dove commercial.
Oh, bro. It's actually. I mentioned this to some of my freelancer friends kasi I'm getting into coaching, diba? So I want to be able to also communicate and connect with the audience better. So medyo I'm producing the shot. Right now, actually, we're using a DSLR to broadcast this. So
nice.
We're using a portrait lens. So ano siya? Let me see. Let me see if I can... Ano siya? I'll show you guys what it looks like dun sa kabila.
I'm trying to.
Ayan siya guys. So yung look, that's what I'm using.
Ring lens. Ring LED na ring flash na.
Yeah. So there's a ring light or and then it's also diffused, but with warm colors para medyo hindi ako magmumukhang dead guy. So, ano naman to, actually, this is overkill for Facebook Live, pero I'm starting to use this because of the coaching that I'm gonna, like the courses that I'm gonna create. So, para mas matagal siya. Yeah.
May ilaw na ako.
Ayun.
Using a stabilizer, is my phone stabilizer. Yeah.
Nice. Nga pala, you got the stabilizer.
Yeah, I'm using a stabilizer. Okay, that answered the question regarding ring light. Shin's asking, hi sir, is your wife also working? How did you manage being a full-time hubby and being a freelancer? Do you actually help your wife do the household chores like the laundry?
So actually the Jean's yung wife ko, she starts work at 2 p.m. and gets back home at 11. So right now nasa work siya. Si baby kasi tulog ngayon. And good thing. Tapos typically when my shoot ako, what I do is I try to schedule it really early, like 6 a.m., 5 a.m. And then I try to be home before 2 p.m. So
shifting kayo.
Oo, tapos kapag medyo malaki yung project, medyo maayos yung kita, nire-request ko sa wife pa na to stay at home na lang kasi parang mababawi naman dun sa, like, if you do the math, you do the day rate and stuff, kung okay naman yung kikita, and then I request, so she files a leave na lang, or minsan she does sick leave. Tapos what she actually does is, we have this project kasi together, we're creating a storybook, so she's a watercolor artist right now. Ginagawa namin yung book, so exciting stuff niya, bro.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds definitely exciting. I'm looking forward to getting a copy of that coloring book. For adults, diba? Not for kids.
It's a customized storybook. So kumbaga, you go to a website, you enter your kid's name. So if it's like your niece or your son, yung demographic kasi that we're targeting is between 4 years old to 7 years old na boy.
The parents.
Boy muna.
Okay.
I mean, yung kids na yun, pero it's their parents that we're targeting syempre on Facebook. But nandun kasi yung arte. It looks like a 4 to 7 year old boy that whatever the name of your kid or your niece or your nephew pala or your apo is, nandun siya sa art ng book. So it's about the magic pencil that your kid uses in order that mawala yung addiction niya to mobile screens or tablets and stuff. So there's some sort of advocacy going on, pero it's really packaged into getting kids to love reading because they see their name and getting them sort of to step away from mobile and from always just playing with computer games all day.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely a concern nowadays with iPads and Nintendo Switches and everything. IC also wants to learn. I guess you can let her know about your photography and videography school. What's the website?
Yun. Actually, the website is shootpracticalvideos.com.
Shootpracticalvideos.com.
Yun siya. It's really about practical videography. Hindi kasi kami film school where you need to be there for a full course, like 4 years. Mm-hmm. So what it's really intended for is people who are already working or who have other things going on in their life, pero they want to try out videography, like pretty much like I was before, and they want to see if it's gonna work out for them. So it's sort of like a litmus test for that. So yun, that is the school. So we have short courses on wedding videography. So it's a boot camp, like what you have a boot camp where you really learn the ropes. You really learn what it is like to have a wedding client, how to deal with them, how to be professional, how to get those clients for weddings, how to find your market. Para siyang para siyang in a box. It's like a business in a box, but you also have to learn the skills. So you learn how to block your team off, parang ano yung positions nyo in the church, ano yung etiquette mo with working with the bride, how do you parang relate to the parents of the bride or groom, yung mga, kasi there's a lot of things pa na nuances that you have to do, you have to learn it. It's not just you are up in there as a videographer, like, oh, I'm a videographer. Hindi siya ganun. It's, you have to really, parang ganun pa rin. You have to make sure that the bride and the groom have one less thing to worry about on the day of their biggest milestone, diba? Something na they're gonna forget what it was like during that day. It's gonna be a blur for them, and it's your job to capture those moments in the best way that you can. And when they watch it 10, 20 years from now, they're still gonna feel that magic dun sa nangyari sa day na yun.
Nice,
so ano siya, you're not yun nga, other people are in it for the money, like, oh, I have a camera, I'm gonna shoot your wedding, and then you're all up in the faces of the bride and groom. You don't notice the friends of the bride and groom who traveled from another country just to visit their friends on their special day. Pero some videographers are gonna crowd up to in between the bride and groom and the guests, diba? Of course, you're gonna get a great shot, pero they're gonna give a crappy experience for the guests, and that's, diba, something to think about. So mga ganun.
Yeah, so everything you need to know, basically, like all those things. I'm sure there's a lot more, but if you want to get into this field, head over to Video Practical Shooting. Shoot Practical Video.
Videos.
Was it? Yeah, shootpracticalvideos.com to learn more about that, and then you can find his courses there, which are very, he's trained over 400 people, so it's very successful. Just head over to shootpracticalvideos.com to learn more about it. And I guess you can just run us through the different courses you have. You have the different short courses. Just give us a list.
Mm-hmm. So there is wedding and events videography. So that's the flagship course, where that's the thing. So there's a business side of wedding filmmaking, and then there's the technical side of wedding filmmaking, where we teach you how to hold the camera, how to move the tripod, all of those technical stuff, how to use audio, and really know what to expect when shooting a wedding, and give you the sort of presence of mind to be able to satisfactorily give a great wedding video for your first client. So yun siya, hindi siya practice. So you get to make all your mistakes inside of the lab. Kasi meron kaming simulation ng actual wedding. We have a real bride and groom. May makeup. Other courses are medyo more advanced, like creative shooting. So how to make those wedding ring shots. You know, we have also editing courses like Adobe Premiere. And then the same day edit. So it's a different skill set where you learn how to edit videos fast, but also still have a story in the video that you're editing. So ano siya, it's specifically for wedding filmmakers who need to produce on the same day. So you need, for more information, guys, just visit the website. It's easy to remember, shootpracticalvideos.com.
Yeah, and somebody posted a link. I saw IC post a link, so thank you for posting that. Just hit that link. You can find out more if you do want to get into this field. Shoden's the guy you should talk to. His courses are the ones you should take. All right, let's go to some other questions here. Michael Deruin wants to know if you have a list of don't do's. I guess do you have like 3 don't do's when it comes to both on the tech and business standpoint when you started your videography career?
Actually, it's sort of a looking back in hindsight na lang do eh. It's a thing that I didn't actually get to avoid myself so much. Kasi, di ba I mentioned earlier na medyo parang headstrong yung pagbasok ko dun sa training. I was just really into it. And then I just sort of forced the gigs, like really found clients that way, and then connected with bigger clients. So ano siya, I guess yun yung do's and don'ts ko dun. So don't be shy to make mistakes. Siguro yun. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there in the world. Kasi ganun yung thing eh. If people start noticing who you are, like if you're the video guy, you're gonna be known as a video guy in your circle of friends first. That's your circle of friends, and then they're gonna refer you, recommend you to a bigger circle, and then when you start advertising, so yun eh. You just put yourself in the playing field, and at first talaga marami kang mali. So yun, don't be afraid to make a mistake, and then even if you make mistakes, move forward, learn from those mistakes. So yun. I could not stress this enough. Pagka simula talaga, you're gonna suck. Talaga.
You're gonna suck when you start. Okay, that's
yun din. And a second do. So that was the don't. And what I suggest you do is also invest in yourself more than you invest in gear if you're going with video. So don't just upgrade your tools. Also upgrade your mind by investing in courses or mentors. Kasi yun nga eh. The tools are always, they're quick to come by. Like, for example, now, first we have all these beautiful drones now. We have these cameras, and then they're going to be obsolete in a few months. And then there's this other thing coming. Pero if what you have in your head, nobody can steal that. So nobody can take that from you basta. So you'll always be learning.
Always be learning.
Yeah.
Very good tips. I see and challenging ng videography pala compared to mga usual tasks as a freelancer. Marifa wants to try freelancing, a little bit hesitant. Marifa, if you want us to try freelancing, check out our free course about freelancing. Head over to freevacourse.com. If somebody could paste that in the comments, I'd appreciate it. Freevacourse.com. If people are watching, they want to get started with freelancing, not in video. They just want to start in general, head over to freevacourse.com. But if you want to go learn about video, head over to shootpracticalvideos.com. We'll have all the links added in the description. What software do you use for editing videos?
Ano siya, primarily I use Adobe Premiere Pro, pero you also have to parang check out the other software. So I use Filmora then for shorter, smaller projects. And I have a separate video editing app on my phone. It's called Kino. It's a Korean video editing tool on your phone.
So,
nice.
Yeah. So
yes, bro, go ahead.
You have one on your phone. You have Filmora for shorter, and then Adobe Premiere for like bigger projects.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Ring light. They Rixie and Charm want to buy one. How much though? A lot of people are asking how much. 2K?
Ayun, so this ring light, the better ones, kumbaga, if you really want to go high quality with durability, So this one we're just going for the results, and it's sort of enough for what we have right now. Kasi we're not able to broadcast in full HD quality naman kasi we're on Facebook Live. Pero this one that you're seeing here is something I got from Kim's store lang. But the one on Kim's store is for 880. It's called the Prestigio ACC ring light. So that's
480 pesos lang.
No, 4880. So it's 4,800.
Sorry, that's 480.
Pero ano siya, the branded ones actually can reach up to 20,000. So this one is really the lower end, just for Facebook and for podcasting and stuff. Kasi meron pang ibang mga lights talaga, they're really really better looking, but I'm just setting it up here dito sa bahay. So it's a really low cost light that looks great, and then you think it's expensive, but it's really not. So
okay. Great. Macbell is asking, do you have a separate training for Adobe Premiere?
Yes, we actually have basic training. So it's one of the basic post-production trainings. So we have production where you learn how to shoot, but we also have editing training. So we have training on basic video editing, which is a walkthrough of Adobe Premiere Pro. And the more advanced course in editing is the same day edit, where we put you in a pressure cooker with clips and you have to edit it in one day and deliver a great looking video.
Nice. That's high pressure training course. Rixie has last question niya daw. Minimum specs ng laptop when it comes to video editing. Maybe you can give RAM and processor.
Ayun. So for the most part, kasi laptops themselves, the architecture for laptops have largely improved over time. So diba we have Moore's Law, where it's actually a piece of software or hardware actually goes obsolete or doubles in strength or performance every 18 months. And that's been true for almost the past 20 years. So ngayon, even the most basic laptops that you have in stores can get you some video editing powers na. But what you really want to do is soup up or beef up your RAM. So if you have 8 gigs of RAM, try to double it, and or as much as you can, as much as you can afford, because it really is RAM intensive, and your video card is also it's gonna eat up a lot of video card RAM. So if you have a lot of RAM on your video card, the better. So yun. Practically laptops around 40,000 up. Those are good.
Yeah, I've edited videos on a 4 gig, 8 gig, and 16 gig computer. Like on a 4 gig, it would take for a 5-minute video, it would take maybe an hour to produce the video. On a 16 gig, it just takes like a few minutes lang, like less than 5 minutes. So also, there's a huge difference.
To put things in context, when I was starting out with video editing back in college, I had to sleep overnight for a 5-minute video.
Overnight.
We were rendering on an AMD K6 250. So 250 lang, hindi pa 1 gig yung processor nun. So hindi pa siya ganun kalakas.
Overnight processing.
Tapos pagka nagkamali ka, napindot mo yung cancel, you're gonna have to do it all over again. So bad trip siya. Pero ganun dati eh. And then now, even our laptops can do it very, very easily, diba? Dati, only desktops could really afford to, have enough firepower, because laptops didn't have the capability dati. So ano talaga, it's really a very great time to be editing videos now. So it's really easy now.
Even mga phones, diba? They can edit videos now. Grabe na yun. Grabe na talaga. How about I guess Levy wants to know what your hardware specs are on your computer.
I'm actually working off an Asus ROG ROG at the moment.
Gaming laptop, you know.
It's a gaming laptop na upgrade pa yung specs. So it's not running on a hard drive. It's running on 2 solid state drives that are in parallel with each other, so that any of the RAM that gets processed gets accessed very quickly. It's much faster than a regular hard disk. So meron ka ring RAM na pangtulak, pero even your hard disk is solid state, so it's easy to access and write.
So, and then yun. How much RAM do you have on your
at the moment I have around 16 gigs of RAM on my ROG.
Okay. And you have like a graphics card pa?
Ayun. The graphics card is medyo yun yung medyo mataas. So it's running off an NVIDIA. Let me check. I have a
960.
I have a GL752BW. So parang hindi ko na nakita dito pero yun, mataas siyang card kasi it can render 4K pretty easily.
Nice. Yeah, video card would make a difference then. But if you're starting out, I guess, like I started out on I've even done editing on a 4 gig laptop, which is mga cheap laptops, mga 20,000 peso level. Kaso lang it'll take a long time.
Tama.
Downside lang. All right. Macbell, up to you though. He has a 4 gig i7 up. He can upgrade.
i7 is actually good yung i7 na. So whatever you see on the market right now, if ever you can get the latest generation that your budget can allow, go for that. Kasi if you want to be heavy with video editing or doing graphics, rendering 3D objects, those things eat up resources on your system. So RAM and video card and CPU. Parang i-max up mo lang. So like I said, I don't want to be purely technical kasi nga, it's going to be a long day for us if we go into that.
and I guess a good rule is whatever, it's an investment. Whether or not you're doing video, for those of you, I know a lot of you guys watching are not into video, so you might be thinking, oh, this is not for me. But whether or not you're doing video, my advice is to get a computer get the best computer you can afford. Because the faster you work, the more money you can make. Basically, whether you're doing VA work, whether you're doing, thank you, whether you're doing graphic design, web design, and I can attest to that. I try to get the best computer I can afford talaga.
May the effect kasi of having to wait. It ruins your creative flow. So there's this thing we know as freelancers called creative flow, where you're in the zone. So if you're a writer, your words are flowing, and if you're a video editor, your music and video and everything else is coming together. Pero you always have to wait. And if you're trying to render, nawala na yung thought na yun. That sucks kasi like you start and stop. So try to get the best that you can afford at the moment.
And you don't want, you're in the mood talaga, you're writing or you're editing a picture or something, tapos biglang mag-hang yung computer, diba? So nakaka-bad trip, you lose.
Meron kang vision na gusto mo, and for a lot of us, like a lot of experienced freelancers, not just video, kung meron kang gustong ma-achieve, and your laptop or your computer or any of your tools is an extension of your creativity, that's when you really start to create a lot of great content. Pero if you stop in your tracks with your tools, mahihirapan ka mag-express ng creativity mo. So we don't advocate na you buy expensive stuff kagad because it's always a hard thing to do. It's not always possible. Pero ako rin naman, before I started with the cheap AMD K6250, it's a really very slow processor na ginagamit namin before, and we were only rendering a 3-minute movie noong time na yun. Tapos overnight siya.
So,
diba?
So it definitely does matter. All right. So I'm just going to summarize Bell's question here. Mac, Windows, or Linux? What do you use?
I'm on a Windows system at the moment. So yun dun kasi ako nahiyang. So it's not always about whatever system's better. Use the system to see if if it works for you. So for example, if you're on a Windows PC, marami siyang pros and cons. Mac, syempre meron din. Pero if dun ka hiyang and nandun yung tools mo and dun ka nag-training, then yeah, unless talaga sobrang bad trip yung system na yun, you should start considering moving, pero focus on the tools, not the OS. Kasi for example, Adobe Premiere, it exists in both the Windows environment and the Mac environment. So you don't really have a problem. Parehas pa rin yung controls. Iba lang yung Control V sa Windows is Command V sa Mac. So may mga nuances, pero it's the same software developer that's deploying it in a different platform now.
Yeah, Windows din ako. Go mga Windows. All right. Okay. Yeah. If you're bad trip sa Windows, it might be like Shoden said. It might be the specs of your computer, not necessarily the OS that has the problem. So that's something you might want to look at.
I really appreciate you, bro, by the way, for doing this and really spreading the word in the community and giving people a great venue to learn new things. And for example, ako din, I'm thankful for your community kasi I got to know a lot of great people. I have actually good friends and people who are on the way to becoming great friends just because you formed this parang it's a collection of like-minded people who were formerly parang malungkot kasi isolated sila as freelancers. Now they're having a Christmas party on the 9th, diba? That's the thing. So, yeah, thank you, bro, for having me over then. And guys, I really appreciate the likes and the support. And yun nga, I'm not really all that much kasi syempre I'm struggling pa din, pero I'm just happy na I got to where I am. And I still have my own syempre mga struggles pa din, pero I hope that I was able to sort of give you an overview of what it is to be like a videographer, a video editor in an online freelancing context. So, yun, this is me, and yeah, Jason, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you guys for staying. Oh, by the way, Shoden, let's not say goodbye to you yet. Before you go, I do want to ask you, like, what's your one tip? If there's one thing that you want the audience, everyone watching right now, to take home, to remember, and everyone who watches the replay, what's the one tip that you want to share and want them to take home?
Ano siya? Yun nga. So, most people kasi get discouraged kasi mahirap. Pero a good way to think about it would be to just enjoy the hardship. Kasi ganun siya eh. It's when you feel na you're being pushed to the limits, when you know na you're growing kasi you're being uncomfortable, you're doing things that you haven't been used to before. So look for that whenever you want to go into a different venture, or parang don't be complacent. I think that's the thing. Kasi yun nga, I don't always manage to do that in my own life, pero when I see na may something na I want to pursue, tas nandun yung excitement ng parang, wow, it's you're being a noob again, and then you're learning things, you're researching, you're in the moment, you're in the flow. So enjoy that process. I know it's difficult kasi yun nga, nothing is really easy to master. If you want mastery over things, it takes syempre patience and a lot of mistakes to get there, diba? So acknowledge na you are going to make mistakes and enjoy the hardship or just the process. So yun nga, if you're feeling na difficult siya, isipin mo, uy, sabi ni Shoden, difficult, enjoy daw, yun. So i-enjoy mo yun pagka nahirapan ka na, and you'll feel na your positive outlook on a difficult situation will totally change the outcome of what you're experiencing.
All right. Yes.
So
it's and I definitely agree with what you said, Shoden. It's a matter of perspective. When you face struggles, you can view them as something bad, or you can view them with, view them happily. Now, okay, I'm facing these struggles, I'm facing these challenges, and then you get through them. You know, if you face them more happily, I guess, you know, you get through them easily. Whereas if you face them and you're always complaining and you're saying, "Oh, bakit naman ganito," then it's going to be really tough for you. So don't be discouraged. You will face challenges. You will face difficulties. All of us all of us who are successful in our fields right now, we face challenges, and you will face challenges too. So thank you so much for that advice. And that's very good advice for people to take home from. Thank you once again, Shoden, for your time. I know you're well, right now is it's your shift to watch over your baby. So thank you for taking this time with us. And thank you everyone as well for watching, for staying on. For those that are watching the replay, thank you as well for watching this. If you found this valuable, you know, me and Shoden, we're doing this for free. Hit the share button, share Shoden's story with your friends, your family. If you have people who are working like in the call center and like so many, you know, maybe they take pictures and they're nice pictures and you think, hey, maybe they can become photographers or videographers. This story can definitely inspire them, or those that want to get started in freelancing, those are having trouble. Hit that share button so that, you know, they'll learn more about this wonderful world of freelancing, and maybe they can get those 7-figure contracts as well, like Shoden got back then.
It's not, it's not always that you get that. You have to have a disclaimer there. There's some of those times where you don't get those projects, pero it's just nice that in a year you get a chance to hit some of those you know, deals. Pero yun nga, thank you then for having me over, Jason. I really appreciate it. And for the Flip community, guys, I really appreciate all the support. And yun then, this is a really exciting time for me kasi yun nga videos and freelancing are more and more parang di ba, online, digital and video are sort of becoming the thing na. So I would really encourage you guys to start maybe dabbling in video kasi video is the parang thing of the internet right now. As internet speeds improve and connectivity improves, there's a global revolution. You know it's happening already, pero in the Philippines, medyo marami pang hindi nagtitake kasi hindi baduy, pero masagwa yung internet natin. Kaya we're not able to really express ourselves well with video yet kasi nga, that's the thing. There's a problem with having creative videos kasi nga, it's always slow. We can't really work. Pero if you've learned stuff na and then video quality starts to improve, video speed starts to improve, you're there in that wave and you could probably also get a lot of gigs for definitely, that. So yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. So thank you guys for staying on, and head over, for those of you that are new to freelancing, want to get started, check out freevacourse.com. And for those of you that want to learn more about videos, which are the future, videos are the future, head over to shootpracticalvideos.com. All right, guys, thank you, everybody, and you have a great rest of the day.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.